Yes, my dear student, how are you all? Everyone fine, super, very good. I am also doing great. This video is applicable for all the students who are writing their CMA Final Corporate Financial Reporting paper for upcoming exam. Actually, we are revising all the chapter of Corporate Financial Reporting paper. Already I have uploaded part 1 and part 2 of our revision video. This is the part 3 and we are discussing valuation of business. Small chapter, but you can't say unimportant. Correct? If question asked from this particular topic, student will not be able to do it, because if you are not revising, you will not be able to do or solve the question in exam. So do revise this chapter, because anytime any question can come from this particular topic. However, not so many times have been asked in past exam, but can be asked in your exam. Okay, yes sir. Now coming to valuation of business. When I say valuation of business, it means we need to value equity shares based on the valuation of business. Now there are two point of view valuation of business. One is from shareholders point of view, one is from long term fund point of view. When we say shareholders fund point of view, it means equity shareholders fund plus preference shareholders fund, which has been classified as equity. But in this chapter, as per whatever the question has been given, preference shareholders fund classified as equity has been ignored from the question. Means we have not found any preference share capital in any question. It means from examination point of view, when I say shareholders fund, it is only equity shareholders fund. Long-term fund means equity shareholders fund plus debt, means equity plus debt, so it become equity plus debt. Now coming to valuation of business, there are three approach. One is net asset approach, one is market approach, one is income approach. Income approach is very important from examination point of view as per this chapter is concerned. When I say net asset approach, already we have done. Means it is nothing but closing capital employed, means it was nothing but valuation of share, whatever we have done in part 2. We will first find out closing capital employed. In this, we'll add non-trade investment. Then we'll add goodwill as per our part 1 is valuation of goodwill. Whatever we have understood, then this become valuation of business. This is nothing but valuation of equity. Valuation of business means this is the net asset available to equity shareholders if the preference share capital has not been given. Of course, if the preference share capital classified as equity has been given, then we'll deduct that, and that is the net asset available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. That is the intrinsic value per equity shares. So already we have done this. So this is the valuation of business or valuation of equity, both are same. When I say market approach, that is nothing but we calculate valuation of equity based on market price per share. So valuation of business is number of equity shares multiplied by market price per equity shares. Correct. So market price per equity share will be earning per equity share divided by P ratio, and P ratio will be calculated as per the average P ratio of similar company of that particular industry in which entity belong as per the information given in the question. Means they will give you P ratio of similar company, we need to find out average, that will become P ratio, and then we'll multiply with EPS, that will become market price per share. Then market price per share into number of equity share will be the value of business. Means this is from equity shareholders point of view. Then coming to income approach, there will be two approach. One is long-term fund, one is shareholders fund. Coming to long-term fund, it is nothing but present value of future cash flow or present value of future cash flow to the firm. You just try to understand, I have said two future cash flow. One is future cash flow and one is future free cash flow to the firm. So it is known as CF, it is known as future cash, it is known as free cash flow to the firm. So FCFF means free cash flow to the firm. So this is CF, future cash flow. This is FCFF, the future free cash flow to firm. Okay, correct. Now, how to calculate future cash flow, how to calculate future free cash flow to the firm, that we need to understand. Now, shareholders fund, so here it is nothing but present value of future free cash flow to equity, not to firm. So, future free cash flow to equity, we'll call it FCFE. Or it is the present value of future earning. Present value of future earning means FMP. So we can do FMP by KE or FMP by KE minus G. This is nothing but yield method, whatever I have discussed in part 2. Correct. So of course, this type of question they will not ask in this particular session. So this is important. This is important from examination point of view. Very important. Chalega? Yes, sir. Now let us understand how to calculate future cash flow and future cash flow to firm and future cash flow to equity. So first, what will take PBIT, means profit before interest and tax, it will be given in the question. So EBIT or PBIT, from that we'll deduct tax. So this will become net operating after tax, means NOPAT. We'll call it NOPAT. In that we'll add all the non-cash expenses. All the non-cash expenses will be added. Non-cash expenses means to find out only cash flow, as we used to do in cash flow from operating activity, you remember. Understood? So this become net operating profit after tax. We'll add all the non-cash expenses, example depreciation, amortization or impairment loss. This will be the operating profit before working capital changes. If you remember cash flow statement chapter, then we'll do changes in working capital. I hope you remember. So we'll do plus decrease in current asset, minus increase in current asset, add increase in current liability, less decrease in current liability. This adjustment done, this will become future cash flow. Future cash flow. This is nothing but, can I say, we can say working capital. So it is quite possible in the question they have given increase in working capital or decrease in working capital. If they have given increase in net working capital or decrease in net working capital, actually we'll do plus decrease in net working capital and minus increase in net working capital. Be careful about that. Okay, sir. So we have calculated future cash flow from this. Now let us understand how to calculate future cash flow, future free cash flow. Future free cash flow. It was future cash flow. Now we are calculating future free cash flow. Are you able to understand? So it is future cash flow. Now we are trying to understand how to calculate future free cash flow. Okay, correct. So future free cash flow are of two types. Either future free cash flow to the firm or future free cash flow to equity. This is for long-term fund and this is for equity fund, means equity shareholders fund. Got this point? So when I am saying whenever we are calculating valuation of business from long-term fund point of view, we'll use this. Whenever we are calculating valuation of business from equity shareholders fund point of view, we'll use this. That is the difference. This is known as FCFF. This is known as FCFE. So first let us now understand how to calculate future cash flow to the firm, future free cash flow to the equity. So we'll start with future cash flow as per whatever working we have done in the above. Correct? Now in this we'll do less all the capital expenditure, whatever we have done, we'll deduct, and this will be free cash flow to the firm. Free cash flow to the firm. So all the capital expenditure deducted, this will be free cash flow to the firm. Correct. Now from this, when we deduct less interest expense but net of tax, so we'll deduct net of tax interest expenses. Correct. And then we'll also deduct, we'll also add net debt issued during the year. Net debt issued during the year, it means issue of debt minus repayment debt. If the issue of debt is more than repayment, then added. If issue of debt is less than repayment, then deducted. So it can be plus, it can be minus. Understood? So less, what will do? Deduct interest net of tax, then add net debt issued during the year on less net debt repayment during the year. So this is free cash flow to the entity. Free cash flow to the entity. Are you getting? So this was free cash flow to the equity. Understood? Are you able to understand? Yes, sir. Now valuation of business based on free cash flow to the firm. Then your formula is what? Valuation of business is what? FCFF divided by WACC, means weighted average cost of capital. Can I say, when I say weighted average cost of capital, that is nothing but KE plus KD. That is KE plus KD. Or it can be FCFF divided by WACC minus G whenever there is some growth. Understood? So it is divided by WACC. This is divided by WACC minus G. Correct. But whenever it is based on free cash flow to the equity, then the valuation of business will be FCFE divided by KE, only KE, or FCFE divided by KE minus G. Itna simple. Understood? Now let us understand with one question. Question number 1. Come to question number 1. What is given? You can see data provided. EBIT is given, depreciation non-cash expense given, capital expenditure given, interest given, increase in non-cash working capital given, debt capital has been given, tax rate is given. Understood? WACC 10% is given, number of equity share has been given. Correct? Yes, sir. These are the information given in the question. Yes, sir. Chalega. Then we need to find out first NOPAT. So let us find out NOPAT one by one. So NOPAT will be what? EBIT has been given minus tax. So from EBIT, whatever is given, tax at 25%, whatever has been given, this becomes NOPAT. Very easy. 1 marks we will get. Then we need to find out cash flow. So let us find out cash flow. So whatever NOPAT we calculated, we'll do plus depreciation and we'll do plus increase in what? Net working capital. Increase in net working capital is given, so that will be minus. So minus increase in non-cash working capital, net working capital, whatever. Yes, sir. So minus, because it is increase. So plus depreciation minus increase in net working capital. This will be cash flow. You get 1 marks. Then they have asked free cash flow to the firm. Free cash flow to the firm. So let us calculate free cash flow to the firm. So cash flow already we calculated. Then can I say from this will deduct capital expenditure. So capital expenditure is given 180. So this is free cash flow to the firm. 1 marks you got. Yes sir. Very simple. Then you will find out value of business based on cash flow and free cash flow to the firm. So value of business. Correct. Value of business. So for that can I say they have given WACC. How much? 10% is given. So we can find out. Let us find out. So value of business based on cash flow, value of business based on cash flow, it will be cash flow divided by WACC, means divided by 10%. So this is 5450, and based on free cash flow to the firm, so free cash flow to the firm divided by WACC, that is 10%, this becomes 3650. You get another 1 marks. Yes sir. Then value of business when the growth rate is 5% based on cash flow and FCFF. So growth rate is given, so you will do KE minus G. You will do KE minus G. Very simple, huh? So based on cash flow, it will be cash flow whatever we have calculated. KE minus G, 10% minus 5%. You can easily calculate it. Then based on free cash flow to the firm, whatever free cash flow to the firm you have calculated, divided by WACC minus G, you can find out this answer. So you get another 1 marks. Then value per share based on free cash flow to the firm when growth rate is 5%, means value per share. Now you need to find out value per share. The value of business already calculated. From value of business, if you minus that, you will get value of equity, then divided by number of equity shares. Yes sir, understood. So already we calculated value per share based on FCF when growth rate is 5%. You have already calculated 7,300. From this minus that, this become value of equity, means net asset available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. This become value of equity shares. Super easy. Yes sir. Now value per share based on FCFE, means free cash flow to the equity when constant growth rate is 5%. So let us now find out what is the FCFE. FCFE. So we will start with FCFF, means free cash flow to the firm, already we calculated. From this we will do less interest expense but net of tax. Correct. One information is actually not given in the question, that is misprinting. There is some net debt issued during the year. So net debt issued during the year, that is missing in the question. You can write down that is 50. So that 50 will be added because that is net debt issued during the year, or they have given issued 140 and repayment 90. So we can find out this, that was missing in the question. Okay sir. So this become FCFE. Now we need to use what? Constant growth rate. So can is the value of business based on FCFE will be FCFE divided by KE minus G. KE. Now KE will be how much? So KE will be, you can see K is not given, that is missing in the question. So that is also one typo mistake. So K is not given and net debt issued during the year is not given in the question. That was some typo mistake. So don't be confused. So K is 12.5% as per the question. It is 12.5%. That will be given in the exam. 12.5%. So 12.5% minus 5%. This will come divided by number of equity shares, because this is value of equity only. This is value of equity. This is not value of business. This is value of business or value of equity. Got this point? This is value per share divided by number of equity shares. Understood? Yes, sir. Super easy. Let me take one more question. Question number 3. Come to question number 3. Your client is willing to acquire a stake in equity of Desert Limited and asks you to find the value per share giving equal importance to the future free cash flow, net asset value of the business, and market price of the shares in peer group. Accordingly, you collected following data. EPS is 3.20. FCFF means free cash flow to the firm for the last year was 40 lakh. Management expect 4% growth per annum for the foreseeable future. Debt capital amounted to 66 lakh. WACC is 14%. K is 17%. Number of equity shares outstanding 10 lakh. Net asset value of the business excluding goodwill. They have given net asset value of business excluding goodwill is 300 lakh. Okay, sir. This is nothing but I will say closing capital employed. The peer group consists of 3 companies with P ratio of this. So you can find out average P ratio. It earns super profit of 6 lakh for the forthcoming 5 year only. So super profit of 6 lakh for the forthcoming 5 year only. You calculate a present value of annuity for 5 year is 3.43 at 14% rate of discounting and 3.2% at 70% rate of discounting. So they have given annuity factor at 14% and 17%. These are the information given in the question. Let us start. Correct. So we need to find out first net asset value per equity shares, means intrinsic value per equity shares. Then we need to find out based on market, based on what? P ratio, correct now, based on P ratio, correct, means market approach, and then also we need to find out as per income approach. Understood? So can you say in this we are doing question number 3. So first we'll find out value of share based on FCFF, free cash flow to the firm. So can you say future free cash flow to the firm is 40 into 1.40 because this was the growth, so that is 41.60. So value of business will be FCFF divided by WACC minus G, because they have given growth also. You can see growth was also given. What was the growth? Growth is 4%. Growth is 4%. So it is 14% minus 4% will do. 14% minus 4%, that is 416. Can you see from this we'll do less value of that? So this become value of equity divided by number of equity shares. This become value per share. Understood? Simple. Then we'll come to value of share based on net asset. Already they have given information to calculate goodwill. Goodwill is equal to super profit multiplied by annuity factor. Can you super profit multiplied by annuity factor based on WACC or based on K? From my point of view, it should be based on K, but as per institute solution, they have done based on WACC. Just try to understand, whenever we say FMP, FMP is always after interest, means FMP belong to equity shareholders fund, not to long-term fund. So from my point of view, it should be K, that is only correct. I don't know why institute has taken WACC, correct? So this will be 6 into 3.2, this is annuity factor already given. This is the goodwill, means we have applied annuity method. The goodwill we calculated. Now they have given net asset excluding goodwill. This will be added. This will be the total net asset, means value of business or value of equity we calculated divided by number of equity shares. This become value per share. Now value per share based on market approach. The P ratio will be average of P ratio. They have given 3 P ratio of the similar company divided by 3. This will be 12. Now value per share will be EPS multiplied by P ratio. EPS is given multiplied by 12. This become value per share. Now we need to find out the average, means giving equal importance. Equal importance means simple average. All these 3 divided by 3 you will do. All these 3 divided by 3. This become what? Value per share. One note I have given, that institute has taken for goodwill WACC, but from my point of view it should be K. Chalega. I think 2 questions I have given, it is more than enough, but I will suggest you, there are 4 or 5 questions. Do all questions. 1 question can come in exam. From my point of view, these are 2 expected questions from examination point of view. I hope valuation of business also you have understood from examination point of view. Okay sir, this much. Next video will be doing part 4. In that, I think we'll be discussing internal reconstruction. Okay sir, till then, bye bye, love you all.